birthday, girl. Happy birthday. Woohoo. Birthday, girl. Happy birthday. Woohoo. All right, so we're sitting here today with our mother, Minister Marie Antoinette Ellis, and we're just going to we're going to relax and have a quick or an intimate conversation about who she is. This will be for generations to come. I don't know if we'll always have this video in cell phone form, but whatever form that it comes about in the future, we will transfer that over so we all can get to know who we are, who our relatives was, without hearing it from somebody else. We're going to hear it from her mouth. So without further ado, Mom, tell us your name, who you are, where you're born, how many siblings you have, and your parents. Just a little bit of that background if you can get it to us in about 3 minutes.
Sure, daughter. My name is Marie Antoinette Ellis. I have a mother and father who's passed on, and their names were Percy and Olivia Armstrong, who is passed on now. There are 8 siblings, including me, and there were a girl between every 2 boys. Okay, so there was Roy and Willie, then Hazel, then Vernon and Lewis, and then me, and then Frederick and Alfonso. That make 8.
Yes.
And I was born in Barnes Jewish Hospital.
Where is Barnes located?
On Kings Highway in St. Louis,
Missouri. Thank you very much. All right. When were you born, ma'am?
I was born July the 20th, 1952.
And how long ago was that?
72 years ago.
Today, because we are cheersing to her birthday. Cheers to you. You got it? All righty. Yay. All right. So the next order of business, tell us about your home life. Like, where did you all live? Did you live in a house, an apartment? How many bedrooms did you have? What was that layout like? If you can sum that up for us in 5 minutes or less. Not to rush you, but I
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we lived on Hogan when I was a baby, way down in the city of St. Louis, almost downtown area. And there were possibly maybe 3 bedrooms because we were not well financed at that time, but we made do. And we moved from Hogan to Pruitt and Igo, where we obtained apartment on 2406 Division Street. And we lived on the 4th floor. I believe our apartment was apartment 412. And at that time we had like about, I would say, 6 bedrooms. Yeah, and it was a long corridor.
Was this a apartment?
Yeah, the apartment building.
Was it government housing, or had you all purchased, or were you just renting from
No,
an
we
owner?
were renting.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a project.
Okay.
By the government.
Projects. Okay.
Yes, yes.
It was a nickname.
It was subsidized housing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What was the nickname for it?
It was called Pruitt and Igo.
But the Dirt Mound. You
What
remember
was-
something?
You said it was a street name or something like that.
Division 2406 Division, I believe was the name. Was the location of the.
Did they have a
area.
nickname? That's what he asked. And did the like?
You remember saying they used to call it the Dirt Mound? Because it was that dirt mound in front you used to play on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the playground.
Yeah, I believe it was called the Dirt Mound because in that project they had a location where you could go for the children and play, and there was a big dirt mound that you could climb up, and they had regular playground things like the swings and monkey bars and all of those type of things that you find on the playground. Yeah.
Okay.
In that location, there was also a library that we could walk to, after school, during school, whatever. And it was a good place at the time it was first built because we were able to, there was something called the Fun Boat in the summertime when we were out of school that they would come to the projects and have activities for the children. And so it was a good time when I was younger. As it got older.
Do you remember how many units was in the building?
Oh wow, there were like 14 floors in the building.
Okay.
And there was something called the middle. They call it the middle floor, but it was like in the middle of the building, where there were more like one apartment with like maybe 1 bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, and the outside on either side of that middle was apartments that had more, like I said, 6 bedrooms or less.
And who slept with who in these
Well,
bedrooms?
in our apartment, my sister Hazel Marie Jabila, who's now passed on, she and I had a room. Like I said, we were only 2 girls. Then the boys were paired off. You know, the oldest boy, Roy and Willie, had a room. Lewis and Vernon and Fred now. And then my parents had a room.
Okay.
Yeah. And we had big living room, big dining room, big kitchen. It was a nice look, you know, very accommodating.
And how old were you when you all stayed there?
I was probably in my teen years.
Oh, so you moved when you were in your teenage years?
Well, I would say this, when we were on Hogan, we did move to the projects. I was probably like, I would say about 10 or something when we moved into the projects.
Into Pruitt-Igoe or to some place? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, about that old. Yeah. So, yeah.
So from maybe like, you said 10 to your teens?
Yeah, because we did relocate from the projects. We were able to find a house on DeGivensville.
Yes.
5829 DeGivensville.
How old were you when you all moved there?
I was basically probably about in my teen years at that time, you know, maybe 13.
You remember what
14.
grade you was in school? Would that help?
You know, I believe I was in high school at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we had to walk to school. There were no buses for us like there are now. We walked winter, spring, summer, fall. Whenever time school was in, we had to walk to school.
Right.
Yeah, to Vashon High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And what is the name of the elementary school you went to?
Carlane.
Carlane. That was down off of Jefferson, right?
Yes.
And what was the middle school?
The middle school, we didn't have a middle school. You went from, at that time, we went from kindergarten all the way through the 7th grade.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you went into high school.
And Vashon was from
Vashon.
was from 8th grade to 12.
Yes.
Okay. I've heard that in some states.
Yes.
Awesome. What was your spirit? How was your elementary life in school?
It was good. You know, times were better in those days. People were more respectful to each other. And we watched out for each other, and the parents watched out for other children, other parents' children coming home or whatever. It was a good time. I'm not saying it was perfect, because sure, there were little brawls every now and then on the way home.
Did you get into any fights?
No.
Did people pick on you?
Nope.
Did you pick on people?
Nope.
What kind of student were you?
I was kind of a quiet person.
So the teacher called on you, you wouldn't answer the question?
Oh no, I was very active in my education, but I'm just saying, as far as friends go, it was always just one person. And the young lady I was a friend to in grade school was Deborah. Her name is Deborah Thompson. Yeah. And we stayed friends from grade school through high school.
Okay.
Yeah. Until when I got in high school now, I guess around 11th grade, I met another friend named Ruby Williams. Yeah. And we were friends all the way up to graduation.
Yeah, I remember you talking about Ruby, but I don't remember Deborah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you, in grade school, which was, kindergarten through the 8th grade, did you participate in any extracurricular activities? Did they have that?
Well, it wasn't like in high school where you can like join the swim team and stuff like
Okay.
that. It was basically your regular gym days.
Okay.
You know, where you did tumbling and you may have did softball. Sometimes you did square dancing, stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. It was fun.
What was your favorite subject in
school?
In grade school?
In grade school was probably, I would say, history.
Why was that?
I liked exploring things I didn't know or had never been. And in the history books, you could see places you may not ever go to, you know. So, yeah. And also, like, we also took a trade when we were in elementary. So we would walk to this trade school, and I think it was on Thomas Street.
Okay.
And we took up home economics. The boys took up carpentry and things like that. Yeah. It was fun. So like one time we had to walk, you know, there were no buses. The teachers didn't assist us because we were old enough to go and come.
Mhm.
And we were walking one day, and we heard a bark. And it was a big old German Shepherd coming after us, and we all
Very
clammed
popular
on.
dogs back in the
Yeah,
day.
we clammed on top of every car we could find. Praying he would get away and leave
Yes,
us
leave him
alone.
alone,
He
yeah.
eventually left, so we weren't going to come down. And we ran the rest of the way
I
to
bet
the
you
trade
did.
school.
How far a walk was that from the school
Oh
to the
man,
house?
that's just like walking from, I would say from Jefferson to Grand. You know?
Jefferson to
Yeah,
Grand.
that's a nice little.
Yeah, that's a nice walk.
Oh, okay.
So picture from James Cool Papa Bill, picture Morning Store,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
all the way up to Lord have mercy. Because Grand is, I'm trying to give you a good location. Page and Grand.
Does Grand run perpendicular to
Yeah, it's just
yeah,
like a
yeah,
railroad,
okay.
yeah.
Right. Even the fact that the high school, we were living in the projects. We walked.
I'm sorry,
from-
parallel, not perpendicular.
Yeah, we
Perpendicular
walked
intersects.
from the projects to the Shine, which was on Grand.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little walk. But there was a lot of us always together, so it made the walk easy. And we'd stop at the donut place on our
No,
way
how
to-
much was a donut back then? Do you remember?
5 cents.
Wow. And did you have any crushes or little supposedly boyfriends in that elementary grade school phase? Do you recall?
I think, yeah, I believe it was probably 2 young men. This one young man, I think his name was something Wallace, Michael Wallace.
Mhm.
Okay, and but see, the funny thing on that, he liked DeBoer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't that I knew he liked me, but I think I liked him.
Okay.
So he liked her.
Okay.
And after they started dating, then God bless this young man. His name was Clarence Williams.
Mhm.
Okay, he really liked me, but I didn't like him because
Mhm.
of his appearance. And he was a very respectful young man.
Mhm.
You know, why does we want to look for something wow when God put something out there that's calm and respectful, a gentleman? And that's what Clarence was. He always loved me, all the way from grade school through high school. And when we had our first class reunion, he was there, and he was glad to see me. Yeah, it was really good.
Okay.
Yes.
This is good stuff right here. So the Clarence.
She gonna dig.
So when was that reunion, that class reunion?
Wow, you know.
How old were we? Because
Well,
some just put
I
that
would
in.
say, okay, like if we graduated in 72, 4 years later, we had our first class reunion.
Really?
4 years?
4 years, not 10?
Huh?
Typically do every
Well,
10
I
years.
may be wrong. It may have been 10. Okay. It may have been 10. I don't know why I said 4, but it may have been 10. And that was when I went. Because they had already probably had a few before the first one, and I didn't go.
Well, they have them
So
every
I
10
probably-
years.
Yeah,
How old
so
were we?
I probably went to the second one.
So how old was I?
Good question.
Because if you went to the second one, they had them every
were
10 years.
grown
I would have been
and
grown.
gone.
Yeah.
So,
You were
yeah,
grown
she-
and
yeah.
gone.
Okay, when you went to the
Yeah.
first one. Okay, so yeah, you're right, 20 years.
Yeah.
And you seen Clarence 20 years after graduation, he was still gushing over you?
Yeah, you know, I think he, I think he had been married and divorced.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, we were still friends. Yeah, and I was elected as the most talented in the high school.
In high school. Okay, tell me more about high school.
Well, high school was wonderful. I mean, like I ran track. I was in the
What did you run in track? What was your heat?
60-yard dash. Yeah,
60 or 90?
No, 60. It
Is
was
it a-
60-yard dash when you are. It's just a one run leg. You know.
100 yard.
It's 100 yard.
Oh,
Because the entire track is 400.
well, maybe it was 100.
Yeah, so it had to be. I'm like, 60, they must have
Yeah,
been.
They run
Y'all
like
trying off on the
years,
NFL.
huh?
They had the Columbine. The combine, that's what it is. But so 100-yard dash.
Yes.
So did you do just the single, or did you do like the 4x1, 4x4,
single.
just okay,
Yeah.
speed? Okay.
Yeah.
So you had some
So
speed.
I ran track. I was I did the modern dance
Mhm.
in DeBoer, and we created a dance ensemble, and so the teacher allowed us to perform our dance at a school assembly, you know. I was also in the Thespian Society, which is your drama class, like that. Um, and there was another, the Jazz Swingers. That was also another dance ensemble type thing. Yeah.
That's the one we had them boots on in that one picture in the book. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, high school was fun. Yeah.
When did you realize? What age was you when you realized you could draw? That you had to
Oh
go
wow!
to?
You know, in high school they had trade schools that you went to. So I went to O'Fallon technical school, and we went doing classes from school, and we were bused from Vashon to O'Fallon, which was located. Which is a good question. I think O'Fallon was a pretty good distance. I can't remember where the street it was located on, but that's why I started doing commercial art, as well as process printing. So I learned how to run a printing machine, and I did enhance my artwork. Yeah.
So what would you say when you was in, I'm gonna take you back a little, when you was in grade school, was there something what did you want to be when you grew up? When you was in middle school or grade school, and then did that change when you got in high school?
It did. It was weird when I got in high school, but in middle school, which I said we didn't really have a middle school.
So grade school, yeah.
Yeah, from grade school on. I don't know for sure at that time that I wanted to be an artist. You know, it was probably more like wanting to sing, because me and these. Myself and two other girls started a singing group, and we sang in lounges.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the middle school?
No, I'm saying after we got older. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're talking about. Well, there's no.
Well, I was saying, what did you want to be? What in grade school?
A singer.
Okay.
Yeah, a singer.
And you carried that on through high school, but then you picked up drawing, and did drawing replace singing? It don't sound like, because you said y'all started singing into lounges. We're gonna dive into that in a little bit.
No, it didn't. And the wonderful thing with the process printing, it was the way I got my first job, paying job. Because my first job was a volunteer at this hospital called People's Hospital on Locust, and I was a candy stripe. Yeah, that was fun too. Yeah, and then I went from there, being in high school, to Shaw's Business Supply Center, where I occurred the opportunity to have a process printing press on my own in the upper level, because in the lower level they did the big jobs for companies. Upstairs it was called pronto printing.
Okay.
So it was people that were walking off the street wanting flyers,
something quickly,
made, or business cards like that. So I could do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, 1 second, I'm gonna pause this. Alrighty, so singer, then you learned a trade, and so you wanted to be a singer, but you started doing something more practical because of the trades, the skills you picked up in trade school, printing, etc., and also drawing. So this is all during high school when you're working at this place?
Yes.
So were you still wanting to be a singer, or were you transitioning over into I want to draw and sing? What was that like? Or was you just not thinking about a career at that point?
I wasn't thinking about a career till you got closer to the upper grade in high school, you know.
And what career would that have been?
You wouldn't imagine. I really wanted to be a airline stewardess.
Oh wow, that was very popular. So that's not. We could imagine that.
Yeah. So I did get this job while in high school at F.W. Woolworth's regional office, and I worked in their mailing department. I did a lot of their advertised printing. Went out to the stores, to all the F.W. Woolworth stores for their, for their merchandise. Yeah, that was an interesting job. Yes.
You kept that for a while though, right?
Yeah,
because I remember being around and we used to come to get you from Woolworth.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, Sears was my last job.
Right. Well,
that was after graduation.
Right. We'll get into your career. All right. So how old were you when you all started getting these gigs in clubs? Do you recall?
Probably about 20 something.
Oh, you were older.
Oh,
Were you
yeah.
still in Maria's house?
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when
I'm
you?
trying to,
Cause when did you have your first child? How old were you?
19.
So you were in the club singing after you had your children? Or we get
Before. But it was all undercover, so my parents weren't against it. I just said my own little life, between while I was there at home with them before Andrew came along at 19.
so. When did you first start getting the gigs?
Getting the gigs. At what age? Or-
Yeah, at what age?
Yeah, it had to be.
There's no judgment here. I mean,
no,
we all
I'm
have
just
pain.
trying to think. That's all. It's been so long ago. It may have been like, I don't know, 17 or 18.
Okay, that make more sense. And
Yeah.
then so just local bars. So you could still be underage, but you was performing, so they let you in.
Yeah.
And did you just spend a night at your friend's house? Because
No, we go to our individual homes.
so what time did
We
was
didn't
that?
stay till it was closed. We did our little.
What was your curfew with my dad and Percy?
Well, it was probably around 10:30.
Mhm.
So just going there, doing our one little thing, and then we left.
And did you all get paid for this?
Yeah.
Okay, all
I
right.
don't know how we broke up. What happened? I think as we got older, everybody went their separate ways.
All right. So, and do you recall what was that experience like for you to be in a?
It was really enjoyable, actually.
Y'all had matching outfits.
Yeah, we did it all.
Do you remember any of the lyrics from any of the songs or the?
No. That's so.
No, don't want to hum a little bit of it.
Don't know any of the songs.
Okay. All right. So we doing that. How long did that last? Going, singing. Do you recall?
I don't even think it lasted a year.
Okay.
It was very temporary.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did my dear Neil question how you got money or where you was going every night?
No, they trusted me. I mean, I was back from my curfew, so.
Okay. Makes sense. And did your brothers or sister ever come and support you because they knew that you were
They
singing?
don't like to.
So they didn't know you
remember,
were singing in the club?
Right, and they were older than me, so they were doing what they were doing.
But I get it. But if my brother or sister is singing in the club,
well, I guess
I'm probably in the club illegal anyway. I might as well go to the one where my sibling is performing. So
I don't recall.
You don't recall it?
coming,
Did
no.
you ever tell
I think
them?
it was more undercover as far as my family knowing I was
Oh,
doing
that's
that.
what. Okay,
Yes.
secrets.
Yes, very.
Okay. Okay. And so that went on for about a year. Okay. And what year did you graduate high school?
72.
And how old were you?
19.
And can you tell us a little about that last year in high school?
That last year in high school, it becomes a closure with the friends you ran together. So the young ladies that we used to actually, for lunch, we would leave the school and go to the White Castle.
Okay.
And sometimes we would hurry up, get our White Castles. And one of our friends was a little older than us. And so she had her own apartment. So we would go to her apartment, eat our castles, but they drank, like wine or something. And they would
she gonna throw them on the bus. So you was in the lounge singing with these same people singing
these are different people now.
with y'all matching outfits, but you never are you saying you never partook in any adult beverage, any spirits?
I met Andrew, and I started drinking Tom Collins. Probably don't even know what that is.
I do know what Tom Collins is.
That's when But yeah, no.
So on lunchtime they getting crunk at the house.
But they didn't get crunk. It's just that
she knows it. They get crunk.
I mean, we were at her apartment playing music, acting crazy.
How long was y'all lunch period?
An hour.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had plenty of time to go do crazy stuff. And the young lady that I was befriending in high school, Ruby, we used to catch the bus sometimes to school together. And this one time we were on the bus, and we always like going to the back of the bus. So there was this lady.
The back of the bus. That's kind of where people who start trouble sit.
Mm-hmm.
What are we missing exactly? Okay.
So we went to the back of the bus, spying on people, So this old lady came in, and she sat down right across from us, kind of the seat across, but in front, so you could see her visually.
Yeah.
And she popped her teeth out, and we were like,
"Oh, the back of the public bus, not the school bus." Oh, okay. That's right.
Yeah. And she popped her teeth. I said, "Ruby, did you see that?" And we started laughing. So, yeah, we used to do goofy things too. Even when I worked at Woolworth Regional Office, when we had an hour lunch, and so I'm trying to think, who was it? It may have been Ella and I that went out, and we didn't want to come back. From lunch. We just wanted to go home.
No one ever does. And still is that way. No one ever wants to come back.
So here's what we did. Crazy as it may be. We muffled our voice and called the office and said there was a bomb had been planted in the building.
So y'all was this is one of these times where y'all went on lunch and started drinking, and y'all was like, "Girl, we finna." Cause she leaving that part out. Cause I'm no sober person. Come on.
We just did not want to go back to work.
I get it.
So we just called and did a
bomb threat.
And this is so retarded. Okay, so most of these people in this company are Caucasians, and so we was laughing, and we went back and they dismissed everybody to go home. But guess who they made stay in case the bomb went off?
Yeah.
It was a black.
She said in case the bomb went off.
It was a black maintenance man. His name was, I think his name was Clarence. Like his name was Clarence, and we didn't find out till the next day
that they made him stay.
That they made this man stay, like he gonna fall on the bomb and stop it from going up the building.
No, he's gonna be a witness. Oh yeah, so it was real.
Right. It wasn't lying.
Oh my God, that is really fun. That's crazy. You would probably get in trouble today because of the
So I didn't realize the depths of bringing a child into the world until I had you, where I thought I was going to have natural birth, right? But being small as I was, they said my bones were able to bring a child in.
We're not able to.
Yeah, right.
Push.
So therefore they said I had to have cesarean, so the birth was peaceful only because they had the
epidural.
Yeah. They dead me from the waist down. Okay. And so I didn't feel anything. And the feeling and the pain didn't come to after the birth.
Let me ask you this, because what I'm hearing, in the lack of what I'm hearing, is there was so much trauma that you just blocked out everything that happened from the time you got pregnant to me pushing. Because I keep asking you about that point, and you keep going to the physical. And I'm like, no, it had to be. You came from my dear and Percy. You had 7 other siblings, and you're not married. And you're graduating. Who came to the graduation?
The family did come because Willie was taking the pictures, and I think I showed you all the horrible pictures. They didn't come out good. And the family came.
Your mom and daddy came.
Yeah.
Your senior year, you ended up moving in with Dad?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why. Paul was like, "You living? You ain't raised."
Yeah.
That's why he was.
Yeah. He was not happy about it. He accused my mother for my pregnancy. He felt like she should have been a little more tight on me as to what I'm doing in life and whatever. And I guess by being in church, it just really blew him away. He was very angry with her. But as time went on, because let's see.
No, let's not let time go on. We're gonna stay right there.
No, I ain't gonna go too far forward because he wasn't around.
Who was at the graduation?
When I got married.
Everybody remembers these big days. Who was at the graduation?
Willie was there. Roy was still living. My Aunt Daddy was there. I'm sure all my siblings was there. Yeah.
So
And
did they come up to you? Y'all take pictures afterwards? Did y'all go out to eat? What did you go over to the house? Like, it's graduation.
Right. Well, the house would have been on Pershing because remember now I'm out of.
But I'm saying you could have went to your parents' home. You didn't go over to their house. What did after graduation? Like, was Daddy at your graduation?
By him working at Bi-State at that time, I don't believe I don't think he was at the graduation.
So how would that make you feel if you having division with your family and the person who you having division with your family that help you cause it is absent on the day that should be to celebrate you? Right. How does that? How were you feeling?
It was a emptiness there for real. Yeah, emptiness in more than one ways. That okay, I'm about to be a mother. The dad is not here. I feel like I was being kicked into the world as a new mother. Because it's like when you leave high school, you're on your own. It's now you're going to have to mature. You're not going to report every morning anymore for us to help run your life. Now you're on your own. So yeah, it was an empty space there. It was like a void of
now peace. What?
Yeah, like what's going to happen now? Where am I going? What am I going to do?
So what was the demeanor of your family when they found out you were pregnant? Because your siblings are extremely opinionated, and so just give us the real. What was that like? Obviously, at that time, the only other person who had kids was Devon. Was the only other person around.
Right. And Tweety Bird.
Tweety Bird. So it'd have been back to back to back.
Yeah.
And nobody's married.
Right.
So from a parent standpoint, I could see Mother and Percy. I'm sure Aunt Hazel got the same thing. I'm pretty sure Uncle Roy did not. Was he married?
Yeah, he and Dolores.
Were they married when they had Tweety Bird is what I'm asking. Do you recall?
You know what? They got married in the service before Roy was deployed. So I believe they had Tweety Bird after he came home. But I believe Roy and them got married in the service because we weren't around for their wedding.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He met her in the service. They got married. And then she got pregnant with Tweety Bird after he was deployed because he got hurt in the service.
Right.
So yeah, then he was released from duty and sent home.
So during all this period, who was still your friend during this time when you met Paul?
It was probably Ruby. And I believe more so this young lady who's the older one that we used to go to her apartment to, her name was Patricia. So we kind of kept communicating.
Like, what was their advice to you? Did you tell them that you was pregnant, or they just had to find out?
Obvious,
okay.
Especially at graduation.
So you never told anybody. You just let it come out. Did you have morning sickness?
Like I said with Ruby, I talked to her about it. Her reaction was surprise. That you're at graduation.
Right.
You're going to be a mother now. Yeah.
And what did Auntie Hazel say?
Where was Hazel at that time? Because Hazel had moved out. And I don't remember. In all due respect, to remember what the siblings said. Because think of now, you got 6 brothers. And not all the time do guys address what's happened to their sister.
Well, I have 2 brothers. I remember their emotions and everything when I brought the kids home. I was at the hospital when I left Leah there. I remember all that. And my kid's almost 30 years old, so I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember walking into this house without Aaliyah, and you could cut the quietness with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
It was so thick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And this might have been before I got pregnant with you. He had a birthday coming. And so I wanted to throw him a surprise birthday party. I didn't know your dad did not like, he was a private person, right? And so Pauline them helped me get it together. And I had told Monty I was going to do it. She said, I don't know if you should do this. She was trying to deter me from throwing a surprise birthday party for him. And so I went beyond her wishes, you know, and Pauline them helped me set it up in her basement. It was really nice and everything. And somebody was supposed to bring him, you know, so he wouldn't know because it was a surprise party. And I don't know, somebody spilled the beans that I was throwing a surprise party for him. He never showed up.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
He never showed up. That broke me down really bad, being pregnant and then waiting on him to come to his surprise birthday party. He didn't show up. So when I went home that night, we didn't have words. I was like, silence.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I got to pause. His birthday's in September. You would have never been pregnant with me in September unless you was pregnant another time and did not have that child.
No, I wasn't. So evidently you were birthed, and you might have been with Maria.
Okay, I was saying because his birthday's in September.
Yeah, but I just know he didn't come to that surprise birthday party, and I was very regretful because Maria said don't do that. You know, because you don't want to surprise somebody. Maybe they don't like parties. And your daddy never liked surprises. So.
Well, he just didn't like surprise. Truly, he liked parties because he worked
But
parties
he
for a
didn't
living.
like surprises. I mean, he wouldn't mind mixing in at a party, but for it to be for him,
attention,
it was a little over the moon. He just wasn't ready for that.
So you lived with him at the time, right?
Yeah.
So how did that go?
When I got home, I was very angry.
Was he there?
There was no conversation for quite a few days, you know, because I'm throwing a party for you, you know, honoring you as an individual, and you don't show up, you know.
And your sister and all them involved in.
You know what? The weirdest thing is that it was probably mostly his family.
Yeah, I know.
All of his family.
Yeah.
It was not any of my siblings that were invited.
Did you? Well, you was the one throwing it, so did you not invite them?
Well, with me being pregnant, I probably felt like they wouldn't have honored him like that because maybe they weren't in agreement with me being pregnant, you know? So I kind of felt that air, so I just never invited them.
So that's the tension we were trying to speak to, because earlier you said that it never gave you any inkling to how they felt, but now we are finding out that they did feel some type of way about you being pregnant, and obviously there was some tension between him and your family.
Yeah.
So who had the most to say about it?
Good question. Probably Roy. Probably being the baby sister. He probably had the most to say about him being the oldest of the siblings, you know. And as far as what he said or how he instructed me or tried to encourage me or whatever he did, I can't remember, you know. Yeah. Moving on.
All right, so you skipped to September and the surprise birthday party, but we missed a very big part, is the birth. What did that look like? What time of day was it when you went into labor? Who did you call? Was Daddy at work? Did you have to call an ambulance?
No,
Who came to the hospital?
He was here when it was time to go to the hospital because, you know, you go to your appointments prior to all that, and they realize you're going to have a cesarean.
Okay.
So, of course, he took me there. And he was there the whole time for the birth and everything.
What about Madeira?
Yeah, what about anybody else?
I only remember.
That's a negative. You would definitely remember who came to.
I don't know.
So how did that make you feel when nobody showed up for you? Because at the end of the day, the baby's coming.
Right. Yeah. That's it's so, maybe I blinked out a lot of things because maybe it was tension there, you know, and just riding on the positive stuff, you know. I know he was there. That was one of the main things.
That's important.
Sitting right there on the bedside, you know, and he was.
Did any of his family come, like Pauline and all them, Henrietta, because you were closer to his family at this point in your life than your own?
No.
Did y'all call anybody?
You know, the weirdest thing in those days, I don't know how things play out with birth in those days, but you usually probably just let people know, okay, Marie's on her way to the hospital to have the baby.
Yeah.
And everybody's excited, not necessarily that they show up, you know. And so when the baby come and we bring you home, then everybody comes over, have baby shower, enjoy the baby.
So you didn't have a planned baby shower prior to me arriving?
Mm-mm. No.
So how long did you have to stay at the hospital? Do you recall?
Actually, by being cesarean, I stayed more than like 10 days. Sometimes
wow.
natural birth is you in and out.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays they push you out regardless.
So I would say at least 5. And then what happened is, like, by us staying on Persian, right, Dolores came to help me during the daytime after I got home, and to help me with anything I needed.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, so what happened was, you know, by me knowing my terrain and territory, I went in the kitchen to put up this hot plate. Now, I got a cesarean, so you're not supposed to reach up. So I took the hot plate and I went to put it up to the top shelf in the pantry, and I felt something wet. So I told Dolores, I said, I think I may have opened these stitches. And so I'm going to lay down if you let me know. And sure enough, I had opened the stitches. So we had to turn around and go back to the hospital. They kept me 10 more days to make sure no infection or anything like that. So they had to restitch that.
So where was I?
Who had you? Probably Maria. Because I always took you to Maria's to babysit.
But no, I was a baby. And my dear was a older grandmother. So I'm just saying.
But that didn't mean she was not capable of taking care of you, you know. So, yeah.
So no Paulines, no none of them. You don't think you just because your relationship with my dear and them seemed really rocky at best.
I can say this though. So growing up, I'm gonna relate this. At what point in your mind do you recall any kind of level of forgiveness? Like, so when Paul died, had y'all mended the relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Because growing up, I'm just gonna speak from our half. It still seemed like we was almost outsiders in our own family sometimes. You know, like it was a clique. And then we was Sonny kids.
We still are.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
It ain't never changed.
Divided from the Armstrong.
Both sides of the family feel like
really
sometimes.
kinda
Both sides of the
yeah,
family.
For sure, Armstrong.
So his family and my family as well.
They treat us differently.
Yeah, we Sonny kids.
I think there was a lot of jealousy as far as his side of the family goes. As far
That's
as
probably
my
your side of the family too.
I think they were just stuck on stupid parts.
No, they was jealous too.
Yeah, it was something.
Whatever that was, but I do realize that too.
That's why
there was a shadow there.
Pauline always been the favorite auntie because she never had none of that.
Right.
You can feel it. As a child, you really can feel it in the air. As soon as you walk in somebody's house, you can tell from the moment you step in if you welcome
if you welcome or not. Yeah.
And on Giversville, it used to be weird. It used to be fun, but it used to be weird. Like it was an energy like.
And it probably was more so for you all. I probably didn't feel it because I was born into it.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But there was always, it was always a divide when it came to me and Tweety Bird and Devon. I was just like, what in the world is this? What is this stuff?
Yeah, why is this?
You know, and that was up until the day Devon was killed. I still never got answers. Even with Tweety Bird to this day, I still never have answers.
Right.
So, I don't know.
You can't answer for somebody that draw away and don't say why they're drawn away from you as to like, what have I done? Or what is it I should have been doing that you're not pleased that I should have did? You can't answer for nobody else. You know what I'm saying?
It was more so, like, I never felt it from Uncle Vernon or Uncle Fred.
Or Hazel Brown.
No, Auntie Hazel either. Or
Uncle Al either.
Yeah,
No, not Uncle
He
Al.
used to purposely come find us and take us out.
And he showed up, and him and Hazel showed up at Paul's party.
Yeah.
They caught the bus. Hazel, and Ayana. They caught the bus. Yes.
The whole time, no matter what was going on, they stayed reaching out.
Yeah.
I can get them that for sure.
They was my people. Every time I came, we drive to Atlanta. We made sure we would hit Auntie Hazel before we left because she was right there by 64 and whatever. We will always make sure. And then at one point, it just shifted.
Yeah.
It was with Ayana because that's who I was. I connected with Ayana because we used to go over there and we come for Thanksgiving.
But you got to
and
remember,
Devon.
she was under Devon.
But I don't know when it should. But Divine has always been estranged like that. But me and Ayana, it was not like that. And all of a sudden, one point, it was just like, hey, I mean, for years, I'd be like, I keep reaching out to Ayana. Can you confirm her phone number and blah, blah, blah. And she would confirm that's my number. I'm like, but why is she not replying? Only person who stayed 100 is Danielle.
Oh, yeah, she always, yeah.
That's the only person who has remained the exact same since forever. And those were the ones you would think would have been the bougie kids because she had a fur coat at 3 years old. You know what I'm saying? And Joyce used to have them fancy, but
Joyce's daughter.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
That's
she was
daughter.
fancy, but she the most humble, sweet. She show up for literally everything. Yeah. When I had that little party at the apartment, she came late, but she came.
Yeah. It's always one or two that you can depend on, like Nidra.
Yes.
Her family.
Yes.
If she's available, she gonna be there. She gonna do whatever.
But that's how I am with both sides of the family. They already know they can call and get whatever, whenever, especially if there's some drama. They gonna call. But both sides, that's why they be like, oh, this is my favorite cousin. Woo.
But then, you don't check on you don't check on me. I'm confused. How I'm your favorite?
I told Mama that though.
I hate to see if I'm your worst.
Yeah, I told Mama that though, cause I was like, dang, that'd be strange. Like on both sides, all the cousins be like, that's my favorite cousin. I'm like, dang, but this phone don't never ring unless y'all need some help.
That's how they did your dad. Remember?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I ain't take it personal.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? They probably just looking at it like, oh, we got.
They straight.
Yeah.
They straight.
He good.
Yeah, we probably got the backlash because he took care of his business. Like, oh, we ain't got to check on them because he made sure they straight.
Right.
And no matter what they was going on in their house, they still remained a family. You know what I'm saying? Well, then we've seen people come and go, get divorces, and do all that stuff. And I don't know. It's just very weird. But
you can't figure people out. Remember how we talked about humans are very interesting.
But you want to have a conversation before you can't have a conversation.
Right.
Like I would love to know what's going on with us. Like even when you said Poochie sent you that text message because of Jackie. Yeah. How does Jackie feel? How do they feel comfortable enough? You're their aunt. You show up for them through thick and thin before there was ever a Jackie.
That I have been.
How do they take her word over even calling and just confirm? But I don't believe that. I have to talk to my TT first.
But that's why I had to tell her. I was like, don't take what Poochie did to heart. Only because she not the same Poochie. I'm telling you. When Marcus and Steven was going through that stuff, it was making her have strokes.
I'm going to pause it because Cheers to you, Minister Ellis. Cheers. Cheers. What is this face? It's a video.
Like I'm posing for a picture, right? All righty then.
All right, everybody. This is our mom, Minister Marie Antoinette Ellis. I don't know why she's posing for Olin Mill photography, but it is what it is.